research that we're doing today in this hour-long one-on-one interview is to find out what builds loyalty for festivals. Not just music festivals, art festivals, learning conferences, food festivals, just this idea of people gathering for a day or several days to experience things together.
Okay.
We're going to sort of examine some of the attitudes you might have as it relates to entertainment in these particular categories. The connection between festival and a sense of being part of a community or something bigger than yourself.
Okay.
And one of the things we're examining most closely is this idea of a festival that stands for something. So you remember back in the day when you would see things like the Red Campaign or the concert that Bono used to do, Amfar.
Yep.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with any of those, but it's something to that effect, except not just being a concert, but a festival. What we're really trying to do is get a sense of what the next generation of festival is going to look like.
Okay.
As a gathering space, okay?
Cool.
So first section is just introduction. If you could tell me a bit about yourself, give me your full name, age, what you do for work, about your family, what your interests and hobbies are. Just tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, right on. So my full name's Keegan Robert Warrington. I'm 25 and I live down here in San Diego. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, and basically like a normal, like upper middle class family. I have an older brother who's getting his PhD, a little sister who's getting her CFA, and an adopted brother. And like growing up, it was normally big into sports. Like sports were king, and that's what we did. Now my like interests still are sports a lot. I do a lot of outdoor activities. So like here in San Diego, my like kind of go-to things would be surfing, kiteboarding, fishing, and so on. I'm pretty much, as long as I'm outside and doing something active, I'm having fun. As far as job goes, I work actually for a startup company out of San Francisco called 5 Stars, and they actually specialize in customer loyalty for small businesses. So my job is sales, so I go to small business owners, like small to mid-size businesses in all sorts of verticals. So that could be like retail, fast casual food, boutiques, I mean, you name it. And my job is basically to convince them to buy the software. And that's like kind of a brief me. I'm also fairly well traveled. My dad lives in Hong Kong, so I spent a year in China after graduating. And then I did another internship in Hong Kong and Macau for a casino company. And then in college, me and a buddy of mine did a car race across Africa. So we were able to start a nonprofit and use those funds basically to travel across Africa. So I'm fairly well traveled, so I think like a lot of my interests, at least still to this day, are kind of going out and exploring and kind of finding that next kind of adventure, which I think corresponds to why I enjoy the sports I do, because I can drive down to Mexico and look for that next like surfing spot or that new wave, or I can go fishing and find that kind of new hole. And so, yeah, I think that's kind of really where my passions lie. So
tell me a bit about this nonprofit that you started. What were you raising funds for? The traveling allowed you to do what?
So yeah, so originally when I was actually, the way it all came about, when I was in Hong Kong, I met these individuals and they were doing a car race from London to Mongolia. And the whole idea is just for it to be a hardcore adventure. So they had to take a really cruddy car, like the engine had to be like 1.2 liters or smaller. And it was all about the adventure. It didn't matter how you got, like the route you went, but it was just about the adventure, and I thought that sounds amazing. So when I got to college, I met my best friend, and we started looking into this. We're like, let's do it. And so we had the idea of, we found one that went to Africa. And kind of coming full circles, we realized we didn't have like the backing or any way to actually accomplish the goal. So we came with the idea to start a nonprofit called Citizen of the World. What we do is we drop we call ourselves Team Cow. So if you do Citizen of the World, drop the T of Citizen of World, COW. So our whole kind of mission was to raise global awareness and social responsibility among students. And the way we did that was by traveling and volunteering abroad, and then highlighting and blogging about our experiences and connecting and kind of live, basically giving live updates of where we were and what we were doing. And then with the funds we raised, donate to charities in that area. So in the Africa Rally, we raised about $28,000 through that. And then we were able to donate to 3 charities. And then when we came back, students at our university kind of got on board and did different fundraisers to kind of volunteer, travel, and give back to charities in areas of their own passion. So it kind of became a vehicle for other students to use to be able to raise money for certain charities that they enjoyed.
Great.
Yeah, we've dissolved it since we graduated, and it was fun, but it kind of made me realize like I don't want to work for free.
Well, there's always going to be a sponsor, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So tell me, what sort of music are you into? Your favorite bands, artists, festivals?
Okay, yeah. So a pretty wide group. I'm basically pretty happy with everything. So I guess like if I had to pick my favorite band, probably my go-to would be like the Foo Fighters. Or I'm really into 90s. I kind of enjoy the 90s stuff still, and is like bad as it sounds, mainstream pop. So yeah.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all.
So I'm actually like, kind of like the, I guess, oddball out. But when it comes to like music, I mean, basically most music I listen to is through Spotify, and it's all through following my friends who are much more into the music scene and much more on top of it, and then you just follow their playlists and find, I guess, new genres. But I'm pretty open to every single genre, and like, whether it be from country to like techno to rap. I mean, I'm open to it all.
And are there any festivals that you like to go to consistently?
Actually, so I've been to Paradiso a few times, but I think the one festival I went to where I just was hands down was like absolutely go again it was called Five Elements, and it was out here in San Diego, and it was actually a yoga festival. So it was yoga daytime type deal, and then it was and then they had music at night. But that would be like the one festival I've been to where I think really enjoyed it. I think because it had a little bit of everything. You had the festival, the music, but you also had kind of like the yoga and activities involved in it as well. So that would be one, like, hands down, I'll go again when they do their spring one.
And what sort of music? Was it live music they were playing, or?
Yeah, it was live music. So and the music was fairly low key. I mean, it wasn't super intense, but like one of the bands that played that I've still kind of followed since then is called The Routine. And they're a local, like, San Diego band, I believe. But yeah, I mean, it was so. I mean, you know, it was a little. There's some of the artists were a little trancey, some were a little more like soulful, I guess, but all fairly like uplifting music. It wasn't really like sad or in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, that was that's probably the one festival that I would go out of my way to go to again. I mean, for the most part, I wouldn't go back to like Paradiso or any of those kind of festivals unless I probably got like a free ticket or something.
So what was your favorite part of that? The fact that they integrated in this sort of non-traditional element, or was it the music itself?
I would say you're the first part where they kind of had that non-traditional element. So it was active, and I think kind of doing yoga and kind of having that active approach allowed you kind of to interact with more people around you and not such just like I guess, like mosh pit type way or crowd type way. So it was an interesting way to kind of connect with the people around you, and then have it transition into that music aspect too. And then, like, by the end of the night, like when everyone's kind of getting around the crowd, you've all kind of gone through that whole process together throughout the day. So it just kind of felt, I guess, maybe a little more connected. I don't know if that makes sense. But just that whole experience, just, I guess maybe it was also the people and the whole kind of, and it was very new to me too. So like going out there and my roommate was a yoga instructor, and she invited me, but that was like the first time I'd really experienced it. So it was all very new and exciting as well, which also have something to do with it. And
with whom did you go with? Your roommate? Anybody else?
No, just her. So me and her went, and then when we got there, I knew people that were there through just the San Diego scene, I guess.
So Paradiso you'd been to, but you probably wouldn't go back again. Why is that?
I just kind of got over it, I guess. Like, um, I don't know. I'm just kind of over the whole getting like thrashed and sleeping in a tent and walking to a crowd and then jumping up and down and realizing I'm dancing by myself. And
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm a little over it as much. I guess I'm not maybe I've like kind of grown out of it, but
Hmm.
it just seems very broy, and I'm kind of
Yeah.
I'm
Some of
cool.
those festivals really are. So you're not wrong about that. How about outside of music? How about food festivals, art festivals, anything like the other types of festivals that you might attend?
So not really. I mean, I do like here in San Diego, like some of the community events. So like they'll have like a community event where it'll be like a Brazil type festival where they'll have a bunch of live music from Brazil. They'll have a bunch of different arts and craft shops and local artists kind of showing off their different goods, and that's always kind of fun because it is neat to connect with people in the community and kind of get to see what's going on in your own backyard.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, also like I don't know really if you consider like sporting conventions like a festival of any sort, but like
Sure.
if there's like a fishing or hunting expo, like sometimes I'll go do that, or like I'll go up to like this like the Hurley Pro when that was up in Trestles up in San Clemente. Like I'd go to that, and that's not really I don't really know if you consider that like an art festival anymore, but in some ways it has kind of like I guess festive type vibe. I mean, it's
Right.
people going
So
to yeah.
yeah, it sounds like the focus, you know how there are some music festivals that have food and some food festivals that have music. It sounds like you like sport festivals that might have, or community festivals that might have those elements, but it's really about something else.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess it would just be. Yeah, I haven't ever put that much thought into it. So I'm just kind of like speaking from heart, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I enjoy when there's I guess multiple aspects of it, where it's not just about the music. It's not just about one particular focus. I think I would really enjoy a food fest, like a food festival, if I ever got to one. But I just haven't. I actually haven't ever gone to one. But I think that would be something I'd really get into, just because um, I do like food a lot, and who doesn't? But I've been lucky to travel a lot too, so I've been able to try a lot of different foods and kind of distinguish what I like and don't like. But so yeah, I think just the aspect of having multiple things going on, where I could choose to listen to music if I wanted to, I could choose to go and check out art shops, or I could choose to watch surfing or just chill out with friends, or kind of have that multiple, I guess, multifaceted like festival would be kind of what I look for, I guess, when I
Mhm.
do.
Right. So it sounds like you had said something about sort of aging out of it. When you were actively going, what were the approximate years? Did you do that for 3 or 4 years while you were in college? When was your festival going time?
Yeah, I would say it was probably between like 21, 22, maybe like early 20s. So 21, 22, 23. Just my group of friends. I am still friends with them, but they're just much more into this. Still live with people who are big into the festivals. So like they would love like my roommates right now. They go to EDC, and
Yeah.
they're all pushing me to go, and I'm kind of like I'd rather just hang out and surf. But
Yeah, I get that.
but so most of the time it was kind of just I guess when I was a little bit younger, and I guess I was like yeah I'll give it a try, see what I like and see what I don't like, and after kind of going to them 2 or 3 times, I'm just like you know what, every time I'm thinking it's going to be better than it is, and I'm just kind of it's not as I just like after I go I'm like I would have had more fun surfing, so that's
Right. Uh-huh. So that actually brings me to another type. Why would you choose a festival over any other type of entertainment, concerts, live shows? But it sounds like for you, you would choose other things over festivals.
yeah I would 100%.
So what's the relative rank in your mind, right? So sports or more community-based stuff, what's the relative rank before you get to a festival?
Okay, so I guess first would be number one would be like if there's really good waves, I'd go sports 100%. Like if there's good water, good fishing, good waves, that takes priority number one. Number two, I think would be a festival or like a community event. I think would probably be on the same par, and a lot about it would be who I'm going with and the group of friends that I'm going in, the kind of scene I'm going with. So I would say maybe they're on the same par, or maybe community event above a festival. But if there was like, for instance, like this year I'll probably end up going to Coachella just because every single person I know is going to probably be going, and my friends are talking about getting like an RV and stuff, so they'll make it very convenient and fun. But a lot, I think, for me to go to a festival, it would almost have to, I'd say 90% would depend right now on like the people.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it was like that 5 elements type of deal where I would go with like one person or something. But yeah, so festival would probably be like number 3 on my list, or 2 or 3. I mean, yeah, probably 3. I'd go to a community event before I'd go to a festival.
What about a concert?
Concert?
Live show?
Yeah. They kind of fall in line. They're on par. Concerts and festivals are pretty much on par with each other. Like, okay. I would say, yeah.
So, do things? So, I guess I'm trying to suss out what some of those turnoffs are. Is it that it's expensive, they're inconvenient, not diverse enough?
So yeah, I guess okay, great. Yeah, so I think one would be like the price tag at the end of it. You know, like if I'm paying $250 or like $300 for a ticket, or $400, whatever the case may be, you know, I have certain expectations of what I'm going to get out of it. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of it, I'll do kind of like I'll always do like these kind of, I'll weigh the options. So I'll be like, okay, I could spend $400 on this ticket, or I could use that $400 and do a trip here, or go do something else. So I'll kind of weigh what I could do with that money. So I have certain expectations. So price definitely comes into a point. And then the scene, a lot of I mean, basically the scene. Like if it's going to be kind of just a drunk bro fest, I know I know I'll get bored after like maybe do it for one night, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm done. So so the scene is very, I guess, a big turn off depending on. That's why I said, I mean, the people I go with, I guess, is kind of a big deal, because depending on the people I go with, I'll know what kind of scene to expect. So yeah, I would say those two. So the price point, what am I gaining versus what am I spending, and then, I mean, like I said, I'm into music, but it's not like a major passion of mine as well. So I have a lot of friends, and they just absolutely love music. They're like, that is amazing, that's incredible. For me, it's just not as much of a passion. So music isn't like it's not a major reason for me to do something, you know.
Right. Well, you want to spend your money and your time elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's super helpful. Well, and then you had this experience with the 5 elements. If you could curate the programming and guest list, right, the community you're talking about of the perfect festival, tell me what you think. What would that look like?
You know, I think it would have to. I think like a cool festival. Okay, yeah, I think it would have to be diverse. So I don't want an eclectic group of people. Everything from, I would love a diverse group of people.
So like international, like you'd want it to be international people because you've done so much international travel.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. You know, it'd be exciting for me to go and interact with different groups of people from all around, and really a festival that would draw. Yeah, maybe it was international, or even if it was local, but it drew lots of different people out of the woodwork, lots of different types of groups and people with different interests. I think that would be something that'd be very attractive. I think as far as music goes, I don't think there'd be any major defining factor, like if the bands. I mean, yeah, I don't think there'd be a specific type of music I would choose. I'd be like, this is way better than this. Because, like I said, I mean, I'd be happy with country music. I'd be happy with rap. I'd be happy with whatever the case may be, as long as the artist is good. I mean, I'm happy with it. As long as other people are happy, I'm happy. And then just it's whether that be yoga, maybe that be like just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's go back to Five Elements for a second. Do you feel like there was a broader message of Five Elements, something that they stood for?
Um, I mean, yeah. It'd come back down, I guess, to yoga and like to what I guess their overall message, I guess, would be have to be it'd be closely linked to yoga and like freeing your mind, I guess, a little, and that might be something along the lines. My roommate could probably tell you more than I could on that, but
Yeah.
100%, there's definitely an underlying theme of that kind of yoga tradition, and it had a very yogi type feel where people were very kind of, it was very free spirited as most festivals are, but it just, I think that'd be, and being healthy kind of was an underlying message as well, you know. So it was definitely fun and a party, but like
Mm-hmm.
healthy and active, and that was something that was definitely an underlying tone was being healthy and like taking care of your body and that kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm. So, as you may know, we are doing this positioning work for a festival in Las Vegas called Life is Beautiful.
Okay.
Life is Beautiful is in its second year, and the name itself we think speaks for it, but let me give you some context. Life is Beautiful this year is a 3-day music, food, art, and learning festival. And what's different about that is that all 4 pillars are equally strong. So it's not just a food festival that has some local bands playing. It's not just a learning festival where, like South by Southwest, where it's learning first and then music. It's not like Art Basel and then everybody goes to party. It's a festival where people are there together, experiencing a community feeling in downtown Las Vegas. And, you know, baked into this notion of life is beautiful is this idea that is this idea that we say life is beautiful to people who sometimes aren't able to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And we say it to communities, larger city communities who maybe at one time life was more beautiful than it is now. Think of Detroit, think of Las Vegas, think of DC.
Yeah.
And reminding people that life is beautiful on a global level, that we have this beautiful earth that we need to take care of, right? And we have this beautiful community of people that we need to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that message in and of itself, I think, is very powerful. But trying to put it in a music festival context for some people might be a little bit lost on them. So what we were trying to do is really understand the stories of individual festival goers where this notion of never giving up and seeing the beauty of life is something that people have experienced in their own lives, and what are the stories around that. So are there experiences that you've had, or have you been inspired to make a life change after a music event or one of these festivals?
I have not yet, no.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah.
And have you ever been to a festival that aligns with this idea of hope or never giving up?
No, not the themes of hope and never giving up. I mean, I think Five Elements might be the closest thing to like your idea that life is beautiful. I mean, because it did kind of embody that, like, be happy, be healthy. So, I mean, life is amazing, you know, like. So,
Yeah.
but that would be the closest thing to it by far.
So in your life, what's reminded you to keep going, to never give up?
I don't know.
Or have you never really felt like that's a challenge that you've had? Just maybe
Yeah.
life isn't so beautiful.
I've always just been able to kind of figure it out. Like, I mean, like, kind of going back to the whole Africa thing, I mean, like, that's like a prime example where we were in certain situations that were absolutely crazy, dangerous, crazy, whatever the case may be. But we never really thought about not finishing, you know, not making it. It just kind of
Right.
was always there. So I've never really thought about not, like, just kind of, I've never thought about giving up, really, I guess. Maybe that was just the way I was raised. But I've always just figured like the worst that happens is I fail, but I won't. I'll always try. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but no,
Yeah.
I've thought about it.
How about anybody close to you? Have somebody close to you been able to benefit from your perspective of always keep trying?
Um, yeah, I think I have several friends who are very much, they get very frustrated if something doesn't go right the first time, and um, they are like and I'm like, just keep trying. Like, what's the worst that happens? And they'll give it a go, and they'll give it a go, and then they'll make it. Whether it just be, I allude a lot to like sports, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even like I'm very close with my siblings. Like my sister, and she's going for her CFA, and it's very difficult. And
Yeah.
definitely goes up, has ups and downs. And when she's in the downs, I'm like, well, Jordan, like you're like in a great position right now. I mean, the worst that happens is you fail, and you have the ability to get your CFA, which is a luxury that most of the world will never have the chance to do. So you literally, I mean, you have this problem that you have is something that most people would be jealous of. And so I think that kind of aspect and just always kind of like enjoying it for what it is, I
Right.
think that's awesome.
Right. Absolutely. That's great. Do you listen to a lot of music? Is music something that helps inspire? What are the things that inspire you to do that? Reading, books, family, friends?
Yeah, books are huge. Friends are huge as well. Um, I'm a big believer in like you're a little bit of you embody a little bit of the people you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
So friends are huge, books are huge. I do like to read a lot. Um, and then I guess also just the way I grew up, my family, the way I grew up, the area I grew up in, we kind of had high expectations, and so I've always kind of had high expectations for myself, my life, and what I'm going to accomplish, and so like that's when it comes back when you said like giving up. I mean, I guess I've never thought about completely giving up or settling.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think it goes back family, friends, and then reading would all be big inspirations for me.
Mm-hmm. It's really interesting. One of our programs, like I said, is the learning program, and that's just a series of lectures and conversations with people who have made an impact, all the way from Pussy Riot to Tony Shea at Zappos to Isaiah Austin. Um, would an agenda like that to you sound interesting?
Yeah, no, I think having that kind of public speakers like that would be very cool. And
Hello? I think I lost you there.
can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Could you
Yeah.
repeat that?
Yeah, I think that'd be very neat. That'd be something I'd enjoy a lot more. Like I'll watch TED Talks on my computer, or while at university we had different like influential speakers come, and it's like I remember when James Curley, who at the time he was the CEO of Keen Footwear,
Hmm.
and that was a really great experience to go and just listen to these influential members. That would be something that would definitely interest me, and having that mixed in with having that at the festival with everything else, I think kind of goes back to the whole dynamic approach of having lots of different things to explore.
Yeah. What if you could see Isaiah Thomas speak, or Isaiah Austin speak, and the granddaughter of Amelia Earhart, and then go watch the Foo Fighters, for
So yeah,
example?
that'd be awesome. You know, I think I'd be a little more interested in the Zappo guy, the shoe guy, but yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know who the first guy is very well, so I
Yeah.
I know who Amelia Earhart is.
Yeah. Well, her granddaughter also flew the same mission, so she has a perspective on that, and it's a particular it's an interesting agenda about specifically women, but really humanism.
Okay.
She's a pretty good speaker.
Yeah.
Um, and as you may or may not know this, but the Life is Beautiful Festival is actually funded by the Downtown Project, or the Las Vegas Tech Fund, which was Tony Hsieh's private $350 million investment in revitalizing downtown Las Vegas.
Well, I did not know that.
So yeah, so that's why he speaks at it. But deeper than that, they look to curate obviously big names, or names that are meaningful, I think, to people. This idea of, let's talk about love, but then let's talk to love experts who've been writing it, or let's talk about resilience or sustainability or data or many topics out there. And the Foo Fighters are performing.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, so they are performing, and we have chefs like Jose Andres and Kim Kanawala and Mark Fiorgione, who has opened quite a few very large, famous restaurants. So the best culinary chefs that exist right now, at least in the U.S. And you'll be able to go and experience, Nobu sushi. You may not like Nobu sushi. That sometimes people give me that response too, but the quality of Nobu sushi for at this festival, because they want to give people an experience that is the first time they've been able to have it, right, in this particular context. So, that's one of the things we're really trying to see if people are interested in it, and how do we talk to people about it. So if I were trying to find someone like you, Keegan, what sort of media do you read, or how do you hear about things that you're like, hey, I'm cool with that. That's interesting.
Word of mouth is obviously huge. So word of mouth, like through the grapevine, friends, I'd say is gigantic. Media, I definitely am checking like the normal updates. I'm usually reading BBC or CNN a little bit every day. Instagram is big. Instagram is huge. I guess I spend a lot of time on Instagram, and locally, I mean, I just see signs posted up, like people post up a sign about the community event. Those would be, I guess, my three channels would be social media, because I'm linking with my friends and seeing what they're doing, word of mouth, and then just, I guess, like more urban marketing where they are just actually posting up signs. Although, like, for instance, if I was like browsing YouTube or whatever, and at a line, like I was watching TED Talks, and something came up about life is beautiful, that's a route I could see this and be like, well, this is really intriguing. I never knew about this. Maybe something like a media on like a dig.com or something along those lines would be something as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably hear about Life is Beautiful from Heidi either way, because she's the one who emailed me about this in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
She's actually been Instagramming and hashtagging Life is Beautiful lately. So when you mentioned it, I was like, oh, that clicks. That's what she's.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know.
Oh, go ahead.
Are you guys having is there a TV show shooting a pilot there about large festivals like this at all?
There was a TV show being filmed about the Downtown Project, or a pilot, but I'm not really aware of anything else. Why?
One of my best friends growing up, he's a model up in LA, and he just landed a hosting gig for a TV show that focuses on like major events around the world. And so first pilot episode is coming up in Las Vegas, and I think it's a type of music festival, and I wasn't sure.
What's the show? I mean, we're happy to have him come. I will check for it.
Yeah, I was actually going to text him as soon as this was over and ask him what it was called and everything. Cause
yeah.
I literally just was up there last weekend, and we went and watched the Beaver game, but he was telling us about it, and we were pretty excited for him. But
how funny. Well, yeah, feel free to make an introduction if you'd like, and if he wants to cover it this weekend, we're happy to give him a media not this weekend, in a few weekends, we're happy to give him a media credential.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely let him know. I'll talk to him and see kind of figure out more about it, because like it was pretty vague, or I don't know enough to really.
Right. Totally. Okay, that's actually super helpful, especially how we would find you. Can you? So yeah, does Las Vegas mean anything to you when you hear of Las Vegas and a festival there? What's your initial response?
I'm thinking EDC, or just like babes and money, basically.
Wow. Okay, that's fair enough. can you believe that there's this counterculture that's popping up here in downtown Las Vegas? Had you heard anything about it?
Yeah, I can, and only because last time I went to Vegas, we went to downtown Vegas. Heidi and grabbed like lunch, and and she was kind of talking about how it's up and coming and a little more trendy, and so I did know it was kind of, it was, I don't know if you call it gentrification or what you call it, but I did know that it was kind of becoming a cooler scene to go to, away from the hustle and bustle of the Strip. But yeah, so I did hear about that. So kind of when it's starting to kind of, everything's coming full circle, I guess, the more I hear about
Yeah, no, it's part of the process. I mean, you have to read an article about it, have a friend talk about it to make you curious. So that's super important. Let's see. I don't think I have any more questions. Do you have anything sort of last that you want to say about festivals or community events, people coming together?
I mean, no, I think, yeah, I mean, you asked a lot of good questions that made me think differently about these things. And yeah, no, I mean, I would have honestly never thought about half the things you mentioned, and those were new to me. So, no, I mean, I thought you did, yeah, it was interesting. It was actually a
good conversation. Yeah. Well, do some research on Life is Beautiful, if you don't mind. Just check it out, see if it's a program that looks interesting to you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, when is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's October 24th through 26th in Las Vegas. You should crash with Heidi.
Yeah, that's actually my birthday.
No kidding. What are you going to do? Well,
on the 23rd, we have a live band karaoke bar, so they have like a live band behind you.
And that's so fun.
So yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm inviting like 40 of my good friends out here, and they're all coming, and all I want from them is for that like 3-minute song that I sing to pretend it's the best rock song they've ever heard in their entire life. So I'm going to be a rock star for my birthday for like 3 minutes, and then just grab some beers and but, no plans for that Friday or anything yet, so it could turn
well, it's an easy drive from San Diego,
It is an easy drive.
It's a 3-day festival. I think the Foo Fighters are the first night. Let me look. Foo Fighters, Life is Beautiful. They are on schedule. 1 second. I think they're actually Friday night. Yeah, let me actually look at Life is Beautiful. Here we go. Okay, line up. Single day lineup. Foo Fighters is Sunday, actually.
Okay.
Sunday. Foo Fighters, Skrillex, Arctic Monkeys, Broken Bells, Casey Musgraves, Little Dragon, Mayor Hawthorne. And I think Jose Andres is going to be teaching a paella making class that day.
Yeah.
Saturday is Outkast, Lionel Richie, Flaming Lips, The Roots, Alt J, TV on the Radio, Fits in the Tantrums, Jeezy, OK Go, and then Friday is Kanye, Girl Talk, The Weeknd, Panic at the Disco, Head in the Heart, Phanogram, Jenny Lewis.
Yeah.
Trees.
A lot of good men.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your time. Perry, who is the one who was originally scheduling this, well, if she hasn't asked for your mailing address, she will, and we'll be mailing out this week everybody's payment via like a gift card.
Cool. Yeah.
We are entering all of our interviewees, which is just 11 of you, into a drawing for a free 3-day pass. So maybe you will be able to come out here regardless.
Yeah, who knows?
Right. So if you don't have any more questions, I think that's all that we have. We may send you a simple follow-up question. So we just asked you that you respond via email. Don't need to get back onto the call, but it might be a perspective to dig a little bit deeper on anything that you might have shared with us this evening.
Yeah, no, cool. So much for your time, and again, sorry about...
No, not at all. I appreciate you rescheduling with us. Thanks a lot, Keegan.
You're welcome. Have a great night.
Great, you too. Bye now.